Good evening, everyone. Welcome to module. Heck, I don't know what number we're on. Module 9. I think we're on 9 now. I feel like all I do is yap at you guys when I'm on this camera thing. Yap, yap, yap. I'm sure you guys are tired of me talking at you through a computer screen. I'm very sorry. So module 9. Yep, we're talking about what the heck is a Hokie pitch. As part of our curriculum here at Virginia Tech. So we're going to go over the curriculum guidelines for a Hokie pitch. I think they're very useful in terms of what you should think about when you're doing presentations and how to keep things brief without giving your audience too much information and too much to look at one time. And I'll go over those guidelines by using an example PowerPoint of what a Hokie pitch should look like. And as always, I'll be putting that PowerPoint on Canvas so that way you can look at it at your own time. So that way you don't feel like you have to get all your information while I'm talking at you on this presentation. I'm going to go ahead and switch my screens so that you can see this presentation that I've made. This is supposed to look like what a model Hokie pitch presentation would look like. Okay, so I'm showing you what a Hokie pitch would look like. The curriculum guidelines for a Hokie pitch are basically to keep things as brief and as clean and organized as possible if you are doing a PowerPoint presentation of some kind. Now, I know some of you have opted not to do a PowerPoint presentation or a Prezi Google Slides because we're kind of doing things a little bit differently now that we're online, and I want you guys to be as creative as possible with your presentation medium. So if you're not doing a Hokie pitch presentation, or if you're not doing a presentation in PowerPoint or Google Slides, Prezi format, then you can adapt these guidelines in a way that fits your presentation mode or model. So just kind of take these things that I'm giving you and apply it to the format that you are using, because I think it's the guidelines that I'm going to be talking about are pretty universal across all the platforms that we've been talking about and been using for our presentation, which is due this Friday. Okay, so your sample Hokie pitch that I'm going over today, one of the first guidelines that Hokie pitch asks you to do is to have a cover slide that has your name, your class, basically your information, your title displayed for your audience to see at the very beginning. So that's going to be nice and clean at the very beginning, and it also puts your name out there in the front, because one of the most important things about a presentation is that you identify yourself at the beginning. I know that might sound pretty straightforward and maybe common sense, but you'd be surprised what you forget to do when you're up in front of people and you just want to get things going. So don't forget to say who you are, even though you feel like people should know who you are. Always introduce yourself. It's just a good habit to get into. Okay, so that's our first slide, and hopefully this will change into our next slide here. Let's see if that works. There we go. Okay, so this is a model slide that I made that kind of embodies two other kind of guidelines that the Hokie pitch asks. So you'll see that this model slide only has 10 words on the slide, and that is because too much text overwhelms your audience. Okay, so kind of like we talked about in your outline, your speech outline, not having a lot of text because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. It's similar for your actual PowerPoint presentation. You don't want a lot of text on the screen because that will also overwhelm your audience. So you want to keep it clean. You want to keep it short, brief, because one of the main things about a presentation is that you are the presentation. Your visual aid is your visual aid. So if you have your visual aid up there, you want to make sure that your reader is reading that slide, but more so paying attention to what you're saying, because if they're too busy reading the slide, they're not hearing what you're saying. So if your visual aid is there to help them understand what you're saying, but not occupy their whole time by reading a big blurb of words. So you'll about 10 words maximum for a slide is what a Hokie pitch asks you to do. The other guideline is about 15 slides total. For our presentation, maybe you do less. I would say no more than 15 but if you want to do less because you feel like you feel like maybe you've got covered what you need to say and you're at the 5-minute mark, then that's fine too, but no more than 15 slides. The other, or the next guideline that the Hokie pitch asks is that you only have one image per slide. Again, this goes towards the let's not overwhelm our audience. Let's ask them to focus on something. Another research article that I saw recently said that you should have no more than 6 images on a slide, but I think that was without text. So just kind of keep an eye on how much you have on the screen. So if you've got some text, one picture is probably going to be enough. If you've maybe got no text, maybe more than one picture is enough. But you definitely want to make sure that you're not overwhelming your audience by putting more than one picture if you've got some words up there. Okay, so one image per slide is what we're going to go for. Okay. And this is me modeling what a Hokie pitch slide would look like. So it's got one image on the slide with some text. This one is reminding you about one of the other Hokie pitch guidelines, which is don't forget to always cite your images that you use. Just like we talked about, if you used an image in your paper, because some of you guys used graphs or some survey statistic graphs where you showed your own research. So if you've got things that you've cited from other sources and you want to put them in your presentation and they're in the form of images, you need to make sure that you cite them, and you cite them just like you did in your paper. Okay, you'll put a works cited at the end of your, or you can put them on the slide. That's probably the easiest way to go, but you could also put it at the end of the slide. I'm fine either way. Sometimes it's easier to cite it on the actual slide though, but as long as you're citing it, that's all I care about. Cite images that come from outside sources. If they're not your work, you absolutely have to cite them. If you are not, if you're getting an image from a Creative Commons place, and I'll go over what that actually means. If it's a Creative Commons image, you don't have to cite it, and I'll go over what that means so that way you can know what needs to be cited and what doesn't need to be cited. So that's kind of how you know what to cite and what not to cite. Okay, so cite your images if you've got them from somewhere else. And at the end of every Hokie pitch, it's suggested that you end with a connect slide or an ending slide. So I modeled this one with a connect slide with my professional picture on it, and it's got my contact information. So I've got my email there, and I've got my Instagram and my website. Now that's if I was promoting my blog. You guys might not want to put your social media out there. I actually would. Don't do that. Don't do that. Unless it's a website that is promoting you professionally, do not put your social media out there for your professional audience to see. Put your email out there. Put something that is that your people can contact you in a professional manner. And if you've got an Instagram that's your professional Instagram, great. If not, don't put it on there. So that would be my suggestion, is put your contact information at the end so that way people can contact you. Usually your email is the best way to do that though. So that's a model ending slide. And so that would be what you ended with in your Hokie pitch. Now that's obviously not 15 slides. That's a lot shorter. So that's a condensed example of what you would be doing if you did a Hokie pitch with a PowerPoint. Like I said, you can definitely apply those principles to some kind of other presentation platform if you're using something different. I feel like those guidelines shouldn't be super hard to put into other platforms. But let's talk about what Module 9 is, what you're going to do for your submission, okay? So for Module 9 submission, I'm giving you 2 options. Your 2 options for Module 9 are you can send me or submit to me the appropriate citations for the images that you're going to be using in your presentation. So that'll still be the APA format that you used in your paper. Just like we talked about in your conferences for your essay, lots of you asked me, how do I cite this image? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. So if we talked about how to cite it, just cite it the same way that we talked about, okay? And the second option, if you don't have any cited sources, or cited images from a source. Then your second one would be to go ahead and send me your cover and ending slide with appropriate information. So if you want to go ahead and do your cover slide and ending slide and send that to me as kind of a representation of, hey, I've already started on my PowerPoint, here's what I've already done. That'll let me know that you're at least on the right track and you're getting things ready for submission on Friday. So those are the two things that I'm asking you to do for Module 9. They're pretty straightforward. Like I said, if you guys have questions, just let me know. I'm going to show you one more thing, but let's see if I can. I'm going to try and switch my screens here in just 1 second. I want to show you Creative Commons. That might take me a second to actually get to what I want. All right, I'm going to take you guys to the Hokie Write page. Okay, so this is our hokieswrite.com. This is, in a nutshell, the entire guidelines that I just went over with you on how to do an English 1106 Hokie pitch. These guidelines are exactly what I just kind of talked about, but this site shows you what Creative Commons are. Now, Creative Commons, if you've ever seen in a PowerPoint where you can insert online pictures, that's what Creative Commons are. They're pictures that have been taken and licensed by PowerPoint or by some kind of company that people can just use for presentations and they don't have to worry about citing them. So you would go to the ccsearch.creativecommons.org, and this is on hokieswrite.com. So it's you can go to this website and find this link. Okay, so if we go to this link, here we go. All of the pictures on this Creative Commons you can find and you can use. So lots of the content that we are doing for this class is environmental related. So we could do something like air pollution. How cute. So we've got some nice air pollution pictures here. And you can use all of these and you don't have to cite them because they're on Creative Commons. We can try another one. Some of you are writing about koalas. Look at these fuzzy creatures. So much fun. Look, oh my gosh, don't you just want one? Oh, I'm just kidding. I would never want a koala because I want them to be in the wild because I love them so much. I would never want one for a pet because they would be so much happier out in the wild, even though I want to cuddle one. All right, so as you can see, Creative Commons is a place where you can find pictures that are licensed for your use and you don't have to cite them. If they're from a source, you have to cite that. I'm going to say that as many times as possible so it's clear. You have to cite images that are from sources that are not yours. Creative Commons pictures, you don't have to cite. If you have questions about that, just let me know. We're having conferences for presentations this week, so if you need to ask me questions about these things, sign up for one of those. I sent the Google Doc out a couple hours ago. Should be sitting in your email. If it's not, email me, let me know. I'll send the link to you again. But we're having conferences for presentations this week, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'll be happy to listen to you practice your presentation. I'll be happy to look over your PowerPoint before you actually record your presentation. I'm happy to do whatever the heck you need me to do before you actually turn that sucker in, because we want you to be successful and not stress out during this already super stressful time. All right. I think I covered everything. Nope, yep. Nothing else is coming to mind. If I missed something, well, I'm just gonna be okay. All right, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. That's the Hokie pitch. I'm gonna upload the PowerPoint and yep, all right. Thanks guys, enjoy Module 9 and Module 10 will be up soon. Sure, yeah, soon. Okay, thanks guys, bye.